name's Wendy Patterson. I'm 58 and I've been a customer with Amplifon since 2019 now.
And can I call you Wendy?
You can indeed, yes.
Well, Wendy, it's great to be with you. Thank you so much for coming in. It's really nice to hear about people's journeys, and particularly your journey from hearing loss, because I think you've got a happy ending. But let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your hearing before you came to Amplifon.
Well, I'd noticed it had been gradually getting worse sort of since I turned 50, but I was ignoring it because I thought, no, that's something that old people have, sort of when you, and I didn't consider myself as old. I still don't, but I'd found that I was finding it difficult to hear my grandchildren, who were only very tiny then. But sort of going out in social situations, I was finding, especially on Sundays, we used to have the family around for Sunday lunch, we still do, and I was not being able to hear bits of parts of the conversation around the table, and also going to the theatre. I was having difficulty sort of hearing the actors speaking. I love going to the theatre. So gradually I was finding everything I enjoyed, I wasn't enjoying anymore.
And you can end up being quite isolated when that happens, can't you?
Yeah.
Is this your first, or was Amplifon your first experience of hearing aids? Did you try before?
Yes, it was. No, I'd not had anything before. Like I say, because I was ignoring it. I was hoping it would go away.
But this was about 8 years ago, so you ignored it for 6 years.
I did, yeah.
And you'd actually probably had it for longer before that.
Probably, yeah. And it was only because I was turning the television up louder and louder, and that my husband was complaining the television was too loud. So then I was putting the subtitles on, and he didn't like that because he said it was distracting. And he said, you're going to have to do something about this. I think it came to a head about the washing, which sounds a ridiculous thing. I'd hung the washing out, and it was one of those days where the weather was a bit on and off, and I thought, well, I'll sit to the conservatory with my book and I can keep an eye on the weather, and if it starts raining, I can bring it in, but I wanted to have a good blow through. And I got so engrossed in my book, didn't look out of the window, and it was only when I stood up to go and make myself a drink, and I realised it was absolutely torrential rain, and I couldn't hear it. And it was in the conservatory, and always in the past.
Glass roof.
Exactly,
yeah.
And I couldn't hear that. And my husband said, it's just nonsense. You're going to have to go, and you can't stop ignoring it. Yeah. You know, you're not a child. Go and get it sorted. So that's why I came to Amplifon.
So why Amplifon?
My neighbour, she's had Amplifon hearing aids for, oh goodness, probably about 5 years. And she was always going about how excellent they were, but because I hadn't told anybody, because I didn't want anyone to know, I hadn't shared the story. I was just like, oh really, that's interesting. Yeah. But I'd taken all the information in that she'd given me, and sort of all how easy it was to come and get fitted, and there was no waiting time. And I think once I made my mind up to do something, I want to do it there and then. I don't want to have to wait weeks before something happens. I chose to have the invisible hearing aid. So after you have to be fitted for that. So the free hearing trial, it was sort of a week or so after my initial hearing test, before the invisible hearing aid was available for me. And it's custom built for me, so even though it was custom built for me, it was still a free trial for a week, because I thought, oh, if it's custom built for me, I'm going to have to pay for it if I don't want it, and it wasn't the case. So I got fitted with this invisible hearing aid, and it was just, the difference was astonishing. I was glad I put waterproof mascara on that day, because it was so startling, the things that I'd been missing out on. Unbelievable.
That sounds great. So it was immediate?
Absolutely immediate. Helen, the audiologist, she fitted the hearing aid, said, right, okay, how's that? And for a second I thought, it's not real. I mean, the slightest thing, sort of the creaking of the chair, and on the keyboard noises, and just speech, and listening to how I sounded. I didn't sound like I thought I did, and just amazing. And you could hear sort of like little bits of, people out on the street and telephones ringing in the office. It was absolutely remarkable, things that I would never have noticed before.
So tell me why the invisible ones were so important to you.
I think basically, even though I'd admitted it to myself that I was having hearing problems, I didn't want anyone else to know about it, because I still felt young. I wanted to feel young. I wanted to still look young, and I just wanted it to be sort of my secret. it's personal to me. Now, if I want to tell people about it, that's fine, but I don't want people looking, going, is she? Just in case people treat you differently. But nobody knows. Nobody can see it apart from the people that I've told.
I mean, even the behind the ear ones are incredibly unobtrusive, and I've heard several customers say, you know, oh, my daughter hadn't noticed until I told her, sort of thing.
But it's just been remarkable. And I've just felt so comfortable with them because they fit so comfortably because it's bespoke to you that I just forget I'm wearing them. People don't know I'm wearing them, and I forget I'm wearing them myself. So it's sort of at night I have to remember to take it out.
Now, you've mentioned a couple of tweaks and things. What is the aftercare like?
Absolutely marvellous. I mean, the staff are so helpful. You can always get through on the phone. Sometimes you can even get an appointment the same day. So if I thought, oh, Rob, I think I'm having a problem with this, or I found this noise is a little too sharp, you know, they'll fit you in the same day, or certainly within a couple of days. So you're not waiting for any length of time. I
mean, something as small as that noise is a bit too sharp. They will, wow.
Absolutely, yeah. You'll come in and they'll sort it out straight away. It's brilliant.
Now, it has to be said, and I mean, these things are absolutely tiny.
Oh, they are.
Really, really tiny. So you kind of look at it and think, how much technology can they fit in there? Technology is...
Oh, it's astonishing.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? How have you got on with the technology? What have you enjoyed most about it?
Oh, goodness. Well, the fact, I mean, it links through to my iPhone.
Yep.
So there's an app on there, so I can alter the volume. So when the family comes round for Sunday lunch, I can alter it so to sort of like party settings, so I can hear the noises. I can hear people's individual voices better, or places where there's a lot of background noise, a lot of music in the background. You want to hear voices over music, you can change that. And also it's linked to my phone, so I will get an alert to tell me that the phone's ringing. So instead of me having to constantly carry my phone with me and have it on the table with it open so I can see it flashing, or have it in my pocket on vibrate, I know immediately when my phone's ringing. You know, it could be the other side of the house. It's like, doesn't matter, because I know my phone's ringing. So I just feel very smug.
So it sounds as if it's been a pretty positive experience all round.
Absolutely. I mean, I've found my confidence has come back because I can go out, I can enjoy the things that I was enjoying before, that had been lost to me sort of gradually over the years, that all petered out. And now it's like, I can go to the theatre. I can, you know, I can see plays, I can enjoy the dramas on the television, I can enjoy music without someone else complaining that, you know, it's too loud. My husband now complains that probably the television's too quiet for him. Go and have a hearing test.
Having a problem with his hearing. Has it had an effect on your relationship with your husband for the better?
Oh, definitely, yes, because we don't squabble now as much as we did, you know, because I'd mishear things. I mean, there was one time during lockdown, we'd have a family quiz every Friday night, a Zoom quiz. And my husband was in the kitchen and my daughter was reading the questions out, and he said, oh, just tell me what are the questions and I'll give you the answers. And she was doing a little section on science. And the question that I heard was, how many elephants are there in the periodic table? Now, I didn't know what that meant. So I shouted through to the kitchen. I said, Mark, how many elephants are there in the periodic table? He went, are you mad woman? What are you talking about? I said, it's elephants. I don't know what's a periodic table, how many elephants are in that. And it was elements, how many elements, you know, sort of the metals and the gases and that sort of thing. And everybody was just all calling me, oh, my grandchildren, oh, silly nanny, silly nanny. Oh. So I am no longer silly nanny. I still don't know how many elements, or elephants even, are in the periodic table. But I'm not silly nanny anymore because I can hear people properly. I'm not mishearing things.
And how much difference has it made to your time with your grandchildren?
Oh, it's fantastic now. I mean, I can have them in the car. We're like having a sing-song in the car. So we have to put the CD on. We have the sing-song in the car. So and I know all the words now. I'm not making things up when I'm singing the songs with them. But then when the music's off and they're in the back of the car, I can hear what they're talking about now, which sometimes is a blessing, sometimes it's a curse.
I was going to say.
Yeah. But it's nice just to be able to join in and know what everyone else is talking and laughing about.
And have they noticed? Do they feel like they've got their nanny back?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. But having said that, they're having to be a bit more careful now about what they say because they know I can hear them.
That's all right. So what would you say to somebody who might be the sort of person who waited 8 years?
I would say that would be a very foolish thing to do. If you think it might be something simple as earwax, but just to make sure, go and have your hearing tested. And it's wonderful. The difference it made is astonishing. I feel 20 years younger now, because I can do all the things that I've always enjoyed that I've missed out on. I can hear the birds singing in the garden. I can hear the church bells in the distance, which was lost to me completely. Yeah. I don't have to have the washing getting wet now. I can hear the rain on the conservatory roof. So I would say, don't put it off. Go and get it tested. You don't know what you're missing. You really don't.
Well, if your husband's listening, I would say to him, if you think the television's too quiet, don't put it on.
Absolutely.
Wendy, thank you very much indeed.
That's a pleasure, thank you.